Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Be Your Own Bank podcast. It's that time of the week, the weekly roundup. Whoosh.
Hey, guys. Thanks for tuning back in. We really appreciate your support and also your comments so we can see what you guys want to learn about. We've got a lot to cover this week, so let's get right into it. So back again, we have Celsius. A lot of new news has developed, so we want to talk about that, kind of condense it, and let you know where we think this whole story is going. Additionally, we have to talk about Voyager. They just filed for bankruptcy. Not a good thing. The house of cards is truly falling. And finally, we want to talk about the PENNYWISE virus to protect you and your assets. So let's start with Celsius. Celsius just got accused by one of their former staff of operating a Ponzi scheme. This has been one of the narratives, potential issue that is happening. And yeah, this guy by the name of, well, he goes on Twitter as OXB1, but his name is Jason Stone, founder of KeyFi, which was a company that was managing about $500 million worth of Celsius's assets, is suing Celsius right now for not paying their 20% net profit sharing that he was entitled to, and for also operating a Ponzi scheme where they were just manipulating the market to boost their own Celsius token and also not managing risk the way that they said they were doing. So,
okay, wait.
Not good.
Yeah, okay. But this guy, right? This B41ZX, this guy worked in Celsius's network and was earning interest from Celsius, and now he's claiming it's a Ponzi scheme?
Now he's claiming it, and people on Twitter were saying, well, why didn't you warn us in 2021 when this started to become an issue? And yeah, I mean, that's a good question.
Because he was making 20%. That's why.
I mean,
because everybody's
I think he had said it was,
whatever.
There were a lot of other reasons.
That's ridiculous.
Probably non-disclosure agreements. I don't know. But yeah, 20% sounds pretty good. Kind of like Terra Luna. But that didn't work either. So yeah, not ideal. Some people are saying that this is just more fear, uncertainty, and doubt. A lot of news companies are covering this story. I don't know how accurate it is, but it's good to present both sides.
Okay, so yeah, all right. So Celsius is a liar. That's fine. But I want my money back. How do I get my money back?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. They can file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Potentially, you could get your money back or a portion of that back. But so far, they haven't been doing that. I guess the one silver lining currently is that they did just pay down a huge debt that they had to MakerDAO, which is the company or the decentralized finance platform that mints the DAI stablecoin. So they paid back that debt, and they unlocked over 20,000 Bitcoin, 24,000 Bitcoin, and they then sent that to FTX, the exchange.
For what?
So I don't know why it was sent there.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I guess maybe because FTX is reputable and it's a good safe place to put it. I don't know, but why is
I don't think so, because most of those exchanges are not a place to store your money. You shouldn't be storing them, especially a big company like that.
Well, and if you owe a bunch of people,
they have their own custodians. They shouldn't be storing them in an exchange. Usually you only move a large amount like that if you're planning on selling. Well,
don't say it. Don't give them the idea. Because if they sell, then we're screwed, right? Like there's no recourse after that, right? It's their money, whoever's account it is, they can just take whatever they want.
Unless they're trying to play the market so they can crash it, buy it back cheaper so that they can give us our physical coins back. Maybe they don't have them. And if they were to manipulate the market again, buy, 50,000 Bitcoin now because they dropped the price to 10K.
Yikes. Yeah. Okay.
And
fine.
maybe that's their bet that they'll save us.
But once again, we're talking about them being a potential Ponzi scheme. They're crooks. Well, speaking of FTX, right? Didn't Samuel Bankman-Fried look at their books and go, "No, I'm not going to help these guys at all."
Yeah, so they had reached out to FTX to bail them out, like BlockFi just got bailed out, and Voyager got a little bit of a bailout, even though they're filing for bankruptcy. But FTX said no. I guess they're difficult to work with, and they had a $2 billion hole in their budget.
Only $2 billion?
That's not ideal.
No, I would say so.
So a lot of negatives going on. Hopefully, there's some sort of saving company like Nexo that can come take over.
Well, how much are they worth right now? Like, what are they managing right now?
I don't know. I don't even know.
Because they would have to be bought up,
a couple
right?
billion. Yeah.
Because right now they're in insolvency. They haven't filed for bankruptcy. So basically they've just bought themselves time.
But what filing for bankruptcy does is it gets rid of the possibility of you being able to be sued. Okay. So, I mean, there's a ton of lawsuits. This former employee,
sure, but they're
going to have to pay the legal teams to deal with that with our money.
Yeah, okay, but we're unsecured creditors, right? They're debtors, right, and we're creditors.
We're the bottom of the totem pole.
Yeah, I mean, we signed the paperwork. We don't have any sort of footing in this battle. So, I mean, I'd rather wait. I don't have a choice, of course, but
I mean, all we can do is wait.
If they, if somebody buys them out, or, I mean, they've got reserves, right? It's just they're locked.
Yeah, I mean, they've got that stake Lido Ether, which they can't really sell because
what is that?
Didn't we talk about that on our last show or not?
Lido Ether?
Yeah.
That sounds like a WWE character.
Yeah, it's basically just a wrapped version of Ethereum that allows them to have the 2.0 staking rewards, but the liquidity of regular Ethereum. Problem is the market for it isn't as good. So if they need to sell it and cash out, they tank the value of Lido Ether and they can't really recover their value.
Okay, but
they have to hold on to it.
Does Lido Ether have anything to do with the Ether 2.0, or is that separate?
Yeah, it does. So once 2.0 is fully functioning, then each Lido Ether can be swapped for a 2.0 Ethereum.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So if there's a run on the bank, but it'll be liquid at that point. So once the merge happens, then they'll have a reserve.
Away.
I understand.
That's months away.
But that's why we're saying insolvency is better. You file for bankruptcy, you don't have a choice after that. You have to be bought out, or you have to be restructured, right? But if you're insolvent, then you're kind of in this, for lack of a better term, ether for the moment.
Sure, but if the longer they wait, the more lawsuits, the more they're just going to hemorrhage our money.
Well, I don't understand why they keep paying out dividends. That's dumb.
Yeah, that's dumb. That should have been halted for sure.
So the other thing they've got is they do invest in Bitcoin mining. So there is a slim to none chance that maybe they could become solvent again. And potentially, I don't know. I mean,
I don't know. It sounds like they're taking a gamble because they know that it won't work if they try to restructure. And so if they take a gamble,
because of the $2 billion on negative,
because they have a hole, and that would have to be looked through. So maybe that would cause them more trouble.
Maybe.
So, I mean, hopefully they can figure it out, but Voyager has a much better chance currently of salvaging their company. So moving on to Voyager, they froze accounts, withdrawals, and interest just this past week. And then the next day they filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. And basically what that means is that bankruptcy is this really bad term, like, oh, we're out of money. They're not. They have a lot of money. They have the $500 million credit line from FTX. They also had a loan from FTX, or FTX took out a loan for like $377 million. So they've got money. They've got our money. They just must not have enough to deal with the run on the bank. And so they are restructuring.
Okay, so let's back it up a little bit. So bankruptcy is when you no longer have the ability to work something out with your creditors. So we are the creditors, the people who give the money to the debtors, right? You think it's a bank, but realistically we are their bank, right? Because we're supplying the money. So they don't have enough money to pay us back. And so they file for bankruptcy, and they're filing for Chapter 11, which I know, right? Chapter 11, Chapter 16,
Chapter 15, whatever. Chapter 7. There's
Chapter
a lot of them.
7. Yep. Chapter 7 is actually a little more final than Chapter 11. Chapter 11 allows you to do something which is called restructuring.
Well, and then they also use language like temporarily shutting withdrawals. We want to come back stronger. We'll continue with operation as usual.
Yeah. So
minus the fact that you can't buy anything or withdraw.
Right. But the idea is leave your money here. We're restructuring the business. So all of our assets are still ours. We still own everything. We don't have to give up any of that. And so when we are able to get credit lines from other businesses, or the market goes up, or whatever the case may be, they're able to pay off their debts or get new debts that they can then accumulate money from, or be bought out by another entity. Those are the kind of the options of the restructure. And then the idea that they will be made whole at some point, but we are once again just left with nothing at the moment. So it's belief.
But their books are a little bit cleaner than Celsius for sure. And they have no problem with, the court looking into their books because they're seemingly a more viable company. They have over 1 million customers. SBF believes in them because his company, Alameda Research, gave them a credit line. So that's good. And worst case scenario, we get 60 to 70 cents on the dollar back. Best case scenario, they restructure. They figure out how to make this work so that we get made whole.
Hopefully. That's just a insult to injury, constant, like just dominoes. Like it's painful. Like
but it is a house of cards. They were all in bed with each other. All these companies are in bed with each other, all lending out to high risk hedge funds like Three Arrows Capital, which owes Voyager $700 million that they can't pay because they lost $200 million of that in the Terra Luna collapse.
Right.
So,
but this all boils down to Do Kwon. Do Kwon is the guy who needs to be held accountable for all this.
Yeah, and he and his team have a travel ban in South Korea. So,
he can't even go to South Korea now.
No, he's in South Korea. He can't leave South Korea.
Oh, got it. But he's also like indicted in South Korea for tax evasion and all this good stuff. Yeah, so I hope he goes down. I hope he goes
100%.
down.
He needs to. Yeah. But that doesn't give us our money back.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
The hope is Voyager is acting swiftly. They're protecting themselves from lawsuits, which will save them money in the long run, which will save us, hopefully. So maybe they'll be bought out. They're currently restructuring. At least we'll get, a little over half of our money back in the worst case scenario.
Yeah. And just remember, bankruptcy doesn't mean the money's gone. It just means
it's not like Monopoly where you have zero money.
It's not like Wheel of Fortune, where you lose it all. It's just,
It's a poor choice of words, honestly.
And there's so many different, there's so many chapters. Like you couldn't even read them.
You can't even read them all. And each chapter is like 4,000 pages.
It's ridiculous.
It's crazy. So, but we're not attorneys. We should have an attorney on here. It'd be a good idea. Finally, we got to talk about the PENNYWISE virus because we don't want any of you guys to deal with that. I know I've talked to a few of our viewers that it's probably a best option to store your money on either cold storage if you trust yourself that much, or on a client-centered wallet like Exodus, Coinami, Coinbase wallet, where you have your keys. The saying goes, not your keys, not your coins. So if you have the keys, then nobody can take those coins from you. However, if you get a virus, you can have all that stolen from you. So the new virus going around YouTube specifically is called the PENNYWISE virus, or malware, after the character from the Stephen King book and movie It. It's the crazy killer clown. Anyways, basically what it does is it tricks you into downloading this mining software that's basically just malware. It's on 70 videos right now, I think. And it will take screenshots. It does a lot of malicious things. It has access to over 24 different wallets, some of which would be Coinami or Exodus. Exodus is a great one. Coinami is a great wallet, but if you get your funds stolen, there's then it's not great. So
wait, so you're saying that this virus, is taking screenshots of your keys and stuff like that?
Yeah, it's finding the files in your computer, taking screenshots. It's very malicious.
But then
you have to try to download this mining software. So if you're not trying to download any mining software, you should be fine.
So don't download any mining software
from a link in YouTube.
Okay.
Make sure if you're a miner, you're doing it maybe on a different computer that doesn't have your crypto wallets on it. Try not downloading new things where your crypto wallets are stored. The interesting thing about this virus, though, is it doesn't target anyone from Russia, Belarus, Ukraine, or Kazakhstan.
So it's probably from one of those countries, my guess.
It's either it or the company that found this virus that's putting out this PSA said that it could be to avoid scrutiny by law enforcement agencies. They might be more serious penalties over there if they get caught.
But it sounds to me like somebody has to put in these keys. Once they harvest the information, then somebody's going to have to manually extract these funds from the accounts then, right? There has to be
not if the malware is sophisticated enough, it can just be automated.
Oh, really? So you could just
for sure
take money out.
Just wipe as soon as you get the keys, just wipe the funds. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
That's scary.
Because if it's a client-centered wallet, there's no KYC. So if you don't have two-factor authentication and they can get right into it with the back door, then they can pull your money in seconds. So a lot of great news, all the good news.
Yeah, that was a fun.
It's kind of a bummer, huh?
Yeah. I wish I had something fun.
Solana has a phone now, so that's cool.
Yeah.
So we'll have to look into that and bring you the details on that in next week's weekly roundup.
All right, let's take a look at those charts. All right, let's take a look at Bitcoin. Right now, we're sitting at 19,400 about. It is sub 20K, which isn't great, but we have been ranging from 17.5 to 22.5. So that is within the range. I anticipate we will continue to range. The 50-day moving average in orange here, you can see, is right at 24. It's possible we come back and touch that before moving down again. It seems that there will be one more leg down. If we take a look at this from the top of the market to where we are now, we are at the 786 retrace. So theoretically, we should get some sort of bounce here. I still anticipate that. Maybe we don't come back up and hit the 28 to 30, but this 24 50-day moving average, I think, is likely. Patience is key. Hopefully there isn't another catastrophic thing. The only thing that could make a difference is the Mt. Gox hack. I think it's over 100,000 Bitcoin will be flooding the market in about a month. So that could weigh negatively on the market if people decide to sell and then panic sell. Just be patient and don't panic. All right, let's take a look at total market cap. Right now it's sitting at 8.4. The 50-day moving average is right at 1 trillion. I would foresee that coming back to touch, but inflation is up. We're at 9% now. So it's not the best time to be investing. And for sure, there's less speculation in the market now. All right, let's take a look at our dollar cost averaging. I've got WaxP. WaxP is sitting at 9 cents. Peak was $1. So we've retraced 90%. There's less downside than upside with WaxP. So might want to take a look at that. Next, we have Filecoin. Filecoin has been destroyed. Peaked at $220. We're sitting at $5 right now. So Filecoin is a good idea to dollar cost average into. And finally, one of my favorites, Zcash. Zcash is sitting at $52. Zcash has more upside than downside potential at the moment. That's it for the charts, gang. We are the Bit Bros. Remember, we are not licensed financial advisors. All content is intended for educational purposes only. Please do your own research and only risk what you're willing to lose. We'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in. Please remember to like and subscribe. Leave a comment in our YouTube channel. And you can also follow us and listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.